I would now request Sanjay Sharma, who's an accomplished leader with a career spanning over 2 decades in logistics and cold chain, and he's presently working as a vice president sales and distribution for Coldman, and he has been handling various new and innovative project development in the field of cold chain over the last decade, and he has been credited with various new initiatives in offering customized solutions to customers. I sincerely thank you, Mr. Sharma, for joining in, and I request you to kindly join the panel and share your insights with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ibad, and very good afternoon to my member panelists also, and all the audience who are listening to us directly now. So I'll be touching upon. So I think most of the points broadly have been covered by the other, panelists who have come just before me. But I will again try to, highlight some of the very important issues where the cold chain would play a larger role, and cold chain is playing a larger role. So I'll just open up my presentation and take. I think you are able to see my screen.
Yeah, we can see it now.
Yeah, it's full screen visible.
It is now, yes.
Okay. So I'll just go to the couple of points. See, we had been discussing earlier also on the quantity, the food wastage that is happening across. So all this data, most of us have seen it in the earlier presentations. But what is critical here for us to understand is, while there is a large quantum of the food which is being wasted, an important aspect to highlight here is, at the household level, 61% of the total waste that happens is at the household level. I mean, which is again a fact which we need to, realize. The people, the consumers who are doing it, they need to be educated. They need to be counseled in terms of the food. Though traditionally in our country, we all are quite, used to, that we should not be wasting the food. But still, despite all this fact, globally, this is the data available. A large part is being, wasted at the household level. However, the corporate or the companies like us who are into the logistics business can definitely play a role with respect to, arresting the food wastages on to the food services and the retail outlets. So this is some of the data I think earlier also we have touched upon. So in terms of per capita, if we see, we are pretty low with respect to all the other countries globally. But in terms of the quantum, because of the quantum of the, the size of the population that we have in the country, we still rate, Mr. Ibad that touched upon this, we are the second largest after China. And just see the numbers, enormous, tons of being food wasted. So we, at the Coldman, we are just trying to, while we are not into the typical commodity of the grains, etc., we are trying to, arrest some of the problems out of this, doing our bit in terms of the perishable. So we are mainly into the cold chain business. So with respect to the perishable food products, we are trying to create a lot of infrastructure. But important here, again, I would like to just highlight on the, so much of wastage that is being happening, while a lot is being discussed with respect to the, supply chain for the food. Two important points. See, with so much of wastage happening as on date also, there are two basic important learnings that we need to see. Number one, either what we are doing presently in terms of the food logistics or food supply chain, either it is not adequate, the infrastructure is not adequate, or else the second option that I possibly see is that we are not doing it the right way. So possibly the infrastructure is available to some extent, but we are not doing it the right way. So classic example, if we see today, when you go to the market and you try to buy an imported fruit or vegetable, be it your kiwis or the imported Washington apple, the quality and the freshness that you see for those kind of apple vis-a-vis what we get domestically from our own states like Himachal or Jammu and Kashmir, probably it is not of the same quality. So which means somewhere we are not doing the things the right way, though there has been a tremendous improvement with respect to the food logistics and the cold chain in last 1 decade in our country. But still there are huge gaps that needs to be addressed at all levels, at the private participants, at the private logistics company, even at the government and the various, organizations who are involved into saving and trying to, benefit the farmers. So if you see here, this is the 2 points that we see. On an annual basis, globally, 121 kgs of the food is being wasted. Food services as such, which of course for household, there is only one alternate that we have as a private players, is we can just educate and counsel. More NGOs should come up and try to educate people the importance of, huge gap between some of the people dying because of the hunger and some of the people, wasting the food at a kitchen level also. So food and retail is something where, of course, companies like us had been taking initiatives. The government organizations are taking initiatives. Government bodies are trying to, arrest this problem by trying to encourage the industries to come up in the food processing sector by providing the subsidies and all this. So that's also a good encouragement for a lot of players to come in and try to arrest this issue of food wastages. So again, I mean, earlier, I think maybe one of the panelists touched upon this thing, that while the cold chain infrastructure is in existence a decade before what it was vis-a-vis what it is presently available, it has improved a lot. But I think the concentration of the cold chain infrastructure is still very, very pertinent to the tier 1 cities. So tier 2, tier 3, or at the farm gate level, we still have huge gaps. Especially I see it at the farm gate level, because that's the first step towards arresting the quality of the products or the produce that we have, especially in the perishable. So even what I highlighted a bit earlier was, if I get from my own domestic states, fruits and vegetables, they are not having that kind of a shelf life what I get from the abroad, which means right from the beginning they are doing the things the right way, while we are lacking with respect to arresting the deterioration of the quality at the first step itself. So post the harvest, there is no pre-cooling rooms or that kind of infrastructure is not available. So I think encouraging to set up the pre-cooling rooms in the farm level will definitely arrest a lot of quality issues that we face when the consumer receives the material in the market. A typical food supply chain, I think Mr. Sudhir also touched upon this. So from the raw material to the processing, then packaging, I think these 2 points, what we are facing an issue is with respect to the packaging and the processing units. I'll be touching upon in the subsequent slides the importance of processing. So we are now, again, if you see warehousing and distribution across the country today, Coldman has about close to 70,000 tons of storage available, from anything from -25 to +25, including some of the humidity controlled chambers as well. And then how it moves, and EXIM is again one of the important aspect, wherein I think bodies like ICC or the other bodies like CII and the government should get involved in terms of encouraging a lot of exports, because the domestic consumption will also have a limitation irrespective whatever we do. So this is a typical cold chain that we see today. Without the cold chain being present. So challenging is again, the harvesting period is pretty short, and then we transport it through the normal trucks. Today also large quantum of fruits and vegetables are being transported, stored on a normal trucks. So when you put it onto the normal warehouse, your shelf life is not more than 3 to 4 days. And if you are not able to reach on time, especially from south, if you are carrying something like, maybe from Maharashtra to Jammu and Kashmir, onions or any other commodity, you will not be able to hold the quantity if we are transporting it through the normal trucks. So a typical cold chain would work something like this, wherein you try to create post the harvesting or immediately post the production at the farm gate level, we try to arrest the deterioration of the quality. The moment you put it straight into the pre-cooling rooms, there are a lot of new companies who have come in with respect to setting up portable, solar-based pre-cooling rooms at the farm gate level. It's not very, very capital intensive. I think most of the farmers today can definitely afford, because in turn, the kind of returns it is going to give with respect to improvising the quality of the products and giving a value for them, I think they would definitely get a larger premium as compared to the investment that are being done into these pre-cooling rooms. So from here, then we take it through the refrigerated trucks, or probably if it's a shorter route, we can take it through normal trucks. But since the pre-cooling is arrested, the bacteria and the quality is already being controlled, we can afford a lead time of 6 to 8 hours in a normal truck and send it to the cold storage at a city level. Again, try to bring it into the same environment in temperature control, and then finally consume it to at the farm gate, at the consumption level. We can definitely try to arrest the quality. So what is that we do at Coldman? I'll just try to run through in next 2-3 minutes. So we have warehouses across the country. This is a typical layout of our warehouse in Bangalore. So we are trying to put a lot of focus with respect to the quality, which is sustainable over a period of time. We are trying to see. Yeah. There is some issue happening, is it? At my end, Madhurna? Hello. Yeah, sorry. So we have 6 temperature zones, as I said, from -25 to +25. So we have 6 various temperature zones. All our warehouses are BRC certified, which is the highest quality standard globally available for food safety also. We insist a lot with respect to the traceability of the product. One of the initiative which I have not highlighted, it's still in a pilot project, is we are now getting into the online fruit and vegetable trading. So a pilot project in Pune we started in Maharashtra, wherein we are trying to direct connect farmers with the consumer. So there is an online app wherein you can order fruits and vegetable, and we deliver the very next day. So until 11 p.m. in the night, you book it, and next day morning by 9 o'clock, you get your products. And this is again one of the initiatives we are trying to take across, so that the farmers are being benefited. This was started about a year back when the severe lockdown had made the farmers vulnerable with respect to the distribution, because transportation was limited. They were not able to reach the markets. That's where we started with respect to our initiative, so that at least the farmers, they are getting benefited, their produce is being reaching to the markets. Then similarly, distribution services, we have a complete traceability. Each vehicle has a GPS wherein we monitor the temperature, so that the temperature integrity is maintained all throughout the food supply chain. This is the spread of the various warehouses we have. So almost all now on a pan-India, by end of this financial year, we'll have a fairly, it's a large warehouse in extreme northeast in Guwahati. We have a warehouse wherein we have about 7,500 tons of raw produce which can be stored, including some of the processing facilities nearby. So cleaning, packing, sorting, everything can be done in the same facility, and we can store anything from -25 to +25. We are doing something for the ginger produce, which is happening in Guwahati, and that's something which we are continuously striving to achieve. These are some of the customers. Of course, this is post the harvest. The next point that I am trying to just put across here is whether the cold chain standalone. There is a lot of discussions happening at various forums that it is because of the lack of the cold chain, a lot of fruits and vegetables are being wasted. But I think to larger extent that may not stand valid reason, because cold chain, while it can definitely help in terms of improving the ratio of the food wastages, it can reduce the food wastages, but standalone cold chain alone will not be able to arrest the problem of the food wastage. Primarily because of the reason, if you see most of the this screen on the right that you see, all the commodities that we see, whether it is apricots or apples, very few have this kind of a tendency of a longer shelf life. Like apples, most likely without cold storage will survive for 1 month. Some of the other I missed there. With cold storages, apple will have a shelf life of about 1 year or so. Similarly, if you see all other product categories, you will find, and today whether it is green peas processing or sweet corn, we have been able to arrest a lot of food losses in that particular commodity. But most of the commodities may not have a larger shelf life despite giving a good cold storage facilities also. So what I am trying to highlight here is the importance of converting, processing it into something like, for most of the fruits and fruits like oranges, you convert it into juice or pulp, and then the shelf life increases to 1 year. So then we are storing a large quantity of fruit pulp and fruit mango dices in all our warehouses, which are then being exported. So we need to insist and focus more with respect to processing the raw produce, keeping it into a state wherein you can increase the shelf life by almost all 6 to 8 months. So that's something which is lacking as per my personal observation. Raw produce, whatever we do with respect to cold chain or efficient distribution services, we may not be able to save wastages to larger extent. But yes, if we are converting it into cut vegetables, trying to increase the awareness with the consumer that these cut vegetables also are equal good source of nutrients, and if produced at a good quality processing center, it will not have any adverse effects as compared to the fresh produce. So this is something which I think is lacking. Once we focus on this, government has last year extended some kind of a subsidies to the processings also, and we have been able to, I think that will be leading the way in terms of arresting the food wastages in the future. And this is some of the innovations that have happened, not by us. Some of the OEM suppliers, solar-based pre-cooling rooms, is we have also tried to install it in our processing center in Pune, where the Coldman Fresh initiative is being taken care. So right at the farm gate itself, we try to pre-cool and then bring it to the processing center or the packing center. Real-time traceability today, we are using the apps. Various apps are available wherein you can track the temperature, you can track the source of the farm that is being coming in. So all this is also some of the platforms which are helping in terms of giving a good return to the farmers. Now we have some online platforms also wherein the farmer can just register and try to get a value for his money. This is some of the initiatives that we should be taking it. Solutions to control, convert bio waste into compost. So a lot of potato peel. Now even the potato, we are one of the larger, if not the largest. We are the largest exporters of the French fries also. So in Gujarat, a lot of initiative is being taken with respect to setting up good processing units, French fries, and you convert it into various other ready-to-consume products. Like aloo tikki or something, wherein you are trying to increase the shelf life of the potato and trying to bring in new modules, in terms of the consumption patterns also. So even the potato peel is today being, utilized. So that kind of initiatives in other fruits and vegetables, if we take, I think that is also going to help with respect to, reducing the overall quantum of the food wastages that we have. This I already touched upon, ready to consume products. So again, the last point, probably before I conclude, is the federations and the government bodies, I think, will have to create a huge market with respect to the exports, because whatever we do and whatever we consume in terms of the surplus, certain good quality produce can be exported to various countries, especially may not hold good for fruits and vegetable, but yes, for the marine catch, for your aqua catch, aqua farming is being encouraged. So a lot of exports are also happening at this point in time. We will have to look at from the poultry perspective, which again is, a lot of farmers who are having their own farmhouses with respect to poultry, they can be benefited. A classic example, if we see today, 7-8 years back, probably to my knowledge, we didn't heard of, fruit called dragon fruit or kiwi or even your Washington apple. The government bodies in these countries, they created an atmosphere within the country also. In India, they have created an atmosphere wherein they try to highlight through direct articles, magazines, the benefits of eating kiwi. It could be vitamin rich. Even the other products also, they have created some kind of an awareness within the domestic people. And even a country like India, who is not that way a very, very premium market for this product to sell, but is today consuming a large quantities of kiwis or dragon fruit. I think this is somewhere the government bodies can play a larger role with respect to certain produce of ours going across the country, especially even the potato-based products, wherein we are quite large surplus produce we have. I think that's all from my side. We are trying, I would like to just summarize and conclude is, we are trying to, play our role with respect to arresting and trying to create awareness in the market. But it is going to take a couple of more years before we reduce this wastage at all levels. And that's the whole philosophy that is driving Coldman. With the kind of expansion programs today we have, we hope to reach even the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. We are already there in a couple of tier 2 cities in Maharashtra, but we would be reaching in other states also. Thank you so much, and over to you, Mr. Ibad.
Thank you so much, Sanjay ji. This was really interesting, and I think kudos to the kind of work which you guys are doing. One observation, and I this is a recommendation which I would like to give to the ICC, is that what we understand, and since we do a lot of work in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities, is the cost of the cold storages needs to be rationalized. I think when we have the logistics policy coming in, if instead of the subsidies, if we have some cost rationalization, wherein established players are not at a disadvantage with the gray market, I think it would make a lot of sense. And if we could pass down the cost benefit to the last strata, I think it would make life so much easier. And why only talk about Washington apples or kiwi? There are so many ingredients. I was going through the ICC website, and they were talking about bhoot jalakia. I don't know how many of us actually know bhoot jalakia. When I was speaking with Sanjay, or we've got so many bongs here. Hilsa is something which is very common to all our Bengali friends. And is it available in India? Available all across India? It is not. So if there is proper logistics which is available, I think life becomes so much easier. And there is so many ingredients which are available all across the country. I think we need to work on that. Thank you, Sanjay ji. This was really very, very informative.